There are never any bad questions in real estate. Everything that is important to you should be important to your agent. Hey guys, this is Jared with Damon, Gettier and Associates Realtors, brokered by Real. I'm a licensed real estate agent in the state of Virginia, and today I'm going to be going over a buyer strategy session with you. And for you new people getting into the market, a buyer strategy session should be the first appointment you have with your agent. You might be a high inquiry and your first meeting might be at the house, but no later than your second meeting with your agent, you should be sitting down and do a buyer strategy session. Today we're going to go over what that is with you. You guys might ask, what is a buyer strategy session? So a buyer strategy session is a sit-down meeting for an agent who just started working with a new client to go over the ins and outs of the market. Do a sit down, find out what your wants and needs are, and figure out what we need to do to make it happen and reach your real estate goals. But we'll basically go over the ins and outs of the market with you. That way you know what to expect, and that way you are a well-informed and prepared buyer. At first, we're going to go over what does it mean to have a buyer's agent. A buyer's agent is the buyer's representation for when they are looking to acquire a new home. Our job isn't simply to show up and try and make you buy a home. Our job is to guide you and protect you in your best interest and to help you find a house at price and terms that are acceptable to you. There are some roles in the real estate transaction that we want to make you aware of. So there's going to be a seller. A seller is the party who is looking to sell the property. They are most commonly represented by a listing agent, whom they have signed a listing agreement with to market the property to buyers and buyers agents. The listing agent is a licensee who has signed an agreement with the seller to market the property and reach buyers and buyers agents in hopes to make a sale. They solely represent the sellers in their best interests. And then next we have the buyer. The buyer is the party who is looking to purchase the property, and they're represented by a buyer's agent, a licensee who represents the buyer and protects them and guides them through making a real estate purchase. The buyer's agent solely represents the buyer and the buyer's best interests. So first we need to address the why. Why are you looking? What's your motivation for coming to the market? Let us understand what your situation is so we can best provide service to you. Again, first your agent should address the why. Upon introduction with your agent you just started working with, you should address your wants and needs with them. What brings you to the market and what is your motivation? What are you looking for in a house and what locations are ideal for you? Also, it's good to let us know what your current living situation is. Do you rent or do you own? Do you have a house that you need to sell in order to make this purchase possible? And are there any timelines we need to meet? Some people have leases expiring, some people have retirements coming up, and some people just simply want to wait till the school year's over. It's good for us to know all of these so we can be prepared to help you out and get this done in a suitable time for you. Now with your agent, we need to address the how. So how are we going to make this purchase happen? What's your ability and how are we going to get from point A to point B? So first off, we're going to start off with what are your means of purchase and how we're going to make this purchase possible. If you're going to be paying cash, great. Make sure your cash is secured in a bank account. You will need a bank statement to use as proof of funds when we start making offers for you. A seller will not accept an offer until they have verified that you have the cash that you say that you have, and at closing, the closing company will not accept a briefcase full of cash as a payment. So you will want that cash in a bank account. If you're getting a loan, that's also great. If you are not already pre-approved, we recommend doing so if you intend on making a purchase happen as soon as the right house pops up. Homes are still selling really fast, and if you go look at the house before getting pre-approved, then you may risk losing it. Pre-approvals can take up to a few days depending on how quickly you can get the mortgage lender all of your information that they requested from you and documents. It is also good to be pre-approved beforehand so you can see what the payments look like. A lot of buyers I start working with have no idea on payment expectations. It's good to know what price range you need to shop in based off of what payment you are comfortable with. So once you find the house that you're interested in purchasing, there are some common questions you should ask your agent before proceeding with making an offer. There are never any bad questions in real estate, and everything that is important to you should be important to your agent. These common questions I'm about to go over with you are not limited to these. These are just the most frequent ones I get as a buyer's agent. First of all, have your agent ask the seller's agent what all defects or issues are they aware of that the property has. A licensee is required to disclose any and all defects they have knowledge of. So always ask, and they will tell you everything that they know about the property in regards to defects. In addition, you should want to know the ages of some of the main components of the house. For example, what is the age of the heating and air system, hot water heater, roof, and any other systems that is applicable to the house. You should want to know the age of. If you get with a contractor or someone that installs those systems, they should be able to let you know what the expected lifespan is of those systems, so you can get an idea of, okay, I'm gonna have to replace this 5 years from now, or this may go out as soon as I purchase the house, or it might be brand new and I don't have to worry about it for a while. So it's good to know these. Another good question to ask is, when was the last electrical and plumbing upgrades? And if it has a well and a septic, you should ask when the last time those were maintenance as well. Another question I commonly get that's probably the most difficult to answer is crime. As a real estate agent, we're not licensed in law, so we are not permitted to answer any questions about crime, but we can direct you to the appropriate resources. I would always recommend calling the local police department in the neighborhood you're looking in and just ask about the area. Also, most counties and cities have crime maps available as well that we can share with you. Now that we've given you some general information and you're ready to prepare your offer, we'll get to writing it up. And you might ask, Jared, what makes a good offer? What do I need to put in my offer to give me the best chance of winning? The first thing you need to address in your offer is the purchase price. This is your offer price. Depending on if you're competing with other offers or not, will help determine how aggressive you need to be. Also, how many days the home has been on the market can also play a role in how aggressive you need to be on your bidding price. Regardless, your agent should be doing a market analysis based off of recent comparable sales to give you a professional opinion on how much the property is worth. So before they write you an offer, they should be looking at similar sales in the area to make sure you're not overpaying for it. Because if you are going to overpay for it in order to beat someone else's bid, you should at least know that you're overpaying for it. The next thing you'll want to address is your earnest money deposit. This is what we call your skin in the game deposit. If your offer is accepted, you will have 5 business days to turn in your deposit. You don't have to do a deposit, but it is expected most of the time. Your deposit serves as protection to the seller. If you are to breach the contract and don't move forward according to what the contract states, you forfeit your deposit to the sellers. Once you get to closing, your deposit is applied towards your closing costs that you have already have to bring in. See it as a portion of your closing costs that you're paying up front. If we don't make it to closing due to one of the contingencies that's covered in your contract, you do get your deposit back. It will be refunded to you. Deposits are very important, as the higher yours is, the more serious you will appear to the seller in wanting to purchase their home. And then inspections. Now, we always recommend you do all of the applicable inspections for the house you're making an offer on, but you do not have to get them if you decide not to. Inspections are solely the purchaser's responsibility to pay for. Once your offer is accepted, you will have a 10 business day period to conduct your inspections, followed by a 5 business day period to negotiate repairs with the sellers. At the conclusion of the 5-day negotiation period, if an agreement is not reached on what repairs are to be done, then you'll have the right to walk away and terminate the contract. And then another good thing to address is your closing costs. If you are, paying cash, then you won't have a down payment. Your closing costs will be very minimal. But if you do have a loan, you will have a down payment that you must pay on top of that, and you will also have closing costs. They're roughly 4 to 5% of the purchase price, and they cover your settlement and loan fees. You can negotiate with the seller to pay some or all of these. Keep in mind the amount of your closing costs you ask for, subtract from the purchase price. So for example, if your offer is $250,000 on a house and you ask the sellers to pay $10,000 in closing costs, then your offer is technically $240,000, because the sellers, they care about the net. They don't care about anything else, and that's the way their agent's going to present the offer to them. Now that your offer is in, we wait. Most of the time, you should hear something back the same day or the very next day, unless the seller's agent has given a specific time to review all offers if there are multiple. Be sure to make your highest and best offer, as you may not receive another opportunity to change your offer, and there's no guarantee that you will receive a counter offer. The seller typically counters the offer that is already closest to what they are looking for. So if there are already other offers that are better than yours, you will likely be the last in line to receive a call back. Good luck. Once your offer is submitted and we get you accepted, great. There are obviously some other steps going forward that your agent will guide you on throughout the process and get you to the closing table. This is simply just to get you started and get your feet wet at the beginning processes of looking, but once we get under contract and get to closing, your agent should be giving you continued guidance throughout the closing process all the way to the closing table. So good luck. Hope everything goes well. Let us know if you have any questions. If you are a new home buyer, give me a call. My name name is Jared Heron. Again, I'm working at Damon, Gettier and Associates Realtors. My phone number is 540-900-3489. I'd be more than happy to work with you and help you reach your real estate goals.